In today's news, election day confirmed for the British Virgin Islands. Direct AA flights more than 70% booked, locals and residents a large percentage. BVI government has made significant progress in the AML-CFT regime. And of course, the strengthening of the education sector is one of his key focuses, says Mr. STACY. In addition, let's talk for action for ANEGADA. We have more details for this after a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
There are many ways to enjoy life. Like so many ways to count on Popular.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John. I'm John.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday, March 16th, 2023. Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands and, of course, beyond. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, Governor Ranking CMG has issued a proclamation and paved the way for elections to be held in the territory of the Virgin Islands. The date is April 24th, 2023. That's the Virgin Islands Day that persons will go to the polls and cast their vote for who should occupy the 5th House of Assembly in the Virgin Islands. Advanced polling is slated for Friday, 21st April 2023. The dates were confirmed on Wednesday, March 15th, 5 days after the 4th House of Assembly dissolved. Now, Section 86 of the Virgin Islands Constitution order states, and I quote, "A general election shall be held, at such time within 2 months, but not earlier than 21 days of dissolution of the House of Assembly, as the governor shall appoint by proclamation published in the Gazette." More on the story as it develops. Locals and residents have been capitalizing on the American Airlines direct flights to and from Miami effective June 1st, 2023, which are reportedly now more than 70% filled to capacity. Our Kamal Haynes has this report.
I'm here at the Terrence B. Lettsome International Airport, where there have been a number of behind-the-scene works occurring in preparation of the American Airlines flights from June 1st, 2023. But I had the opportunity to speak to Managing Director of the BVI Airports Authority, Mr. Kurt Manal, who had this to say.
So you have to fill in all of these lines here. So before you would have seen that it was just empty and ad hoc. So we bring in the stanchions now to create that flow. So each airline, you line up in front of their counter so you don't have that spillover, because we have limited capacity at the terminal and we want to optimize the space that we have to make the best of it. So we'll put American at these 2 counters and they will essentially have 4 spaces, and then all the other airlines will be moving them around for efficiency, commensurate with the level of traffic and the number of passengers that they move. So it will all work out. So what you will see is a knock-on effect where there's an increase in efficiency for the entire airport operation, and the level of service for every airline is expected to improve.
As it relates to locals and residents capitalizing on the flights, Minal said there are the largest percentage of persons within the flights that are more than 70% filled to capacity. Well, he also spoke on the demand for the flights which will be operating directly between the Terrence B. Lettsome International Airport and Miami, stating that it remains extremely high, which has resulted in the continuous fluctuation of ticket prices.
So what we've seen is the load capacity, the load factors looking like 70% plus. So most of the flights so far looking very full. And the expectation is that they will come into the BVI and out very full. What is amazing to us is that a lot of that demand is generated by actual residents and BV Islanders who have that high propensity to travel. So while you may think it's tourism people or business people, yes, they form part of it, but a large percentage of that population is actually BV Islanders and residents who just too happy to welcome American Airlines back to the BVI.
But the managing director also provided an update on the groundworks which are being executed by the Airports Authority and a team from American Airlines.
So the date is June 1st that American Airlines will launch their first flight. In the interim, what we have been doing, the Airports Authority and the BVI Tourist Board, we've been working along with American Airlines to set up the station, really. So over the last week, Monday and Tuesday, there would have been a team, a project implementation team from American Airlines down here. The team comprised about 4 persons, inclusive of the IT people, the property people. So they were looking at the spaces available. They will have to establish 2 offices at the airport. They would have to be allocated counter space, as well as to hire and train staff. So you'll see a knock-on effect, not just for the airport, but for the economy. So we're very happy to welcome American Airlines. And we continue to work with them now to put things in place.
I was also asked whether there have been any additional talks to have the carrier increase the direct flights from the seasonal period to all year round.
The talks are always there. When we initially approached them, our intention was for it to be continuous, but their thinking is that the exact words were they have to test the waters. They have to see how it goes. So you launch, actually most countries or most stations, they launch into most destinations. They launch, let's say, 2 and 3 times per week. For example, in Dominica, they launched 3 times per week. They did the similar in Anguilla. But the demand that they saw for the BVI is so high. It's actually not a regular characteristic that they launch absolutely every day. So they'll be coming to the BVI every day with a return flight. And it would be seasonal in the sense that it would stop during October and November, I believe. But in line with your question, I expect, or we expect, that the demand would be such that they would have to increase. I'm not sure what motivates them to make it seasonal in terms of stopping in October and November, but I don't think it would have much of an impact in terms of the numbers coming to the BVI. The numbers will remain high.
Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
Thank you, Kamal, for that report. 9th District Representative the Honorable Vincent Wheatley believes there is need for more action on promises made to the residents of the 9th District. He expressed those views in the face of promises made by his own political camp and having him be the representative of the 9th District for the last 4 years with the Virgin Islands Party. Take a look at this report.
Less talk, more action. Those were the sentiments of 9th District Representative Honorable Vincent Wheatley as he discussed the Virgin Islands Party's vision for the 9th District, following a term which he admitted failed to deal the necessary attention to some key issues. When prompted by Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley to highlight his work as an incumbent representative of the Virgin Islands Party camp by speaking about the works undertaken on recreational facilities in ANEGADA, the 9th District Representative said that this was an area that was not given, quote, a heavy focus. In that same breath, however, he spoke of a future in sports tourism for ANEGADA, which would put these facilities to use.
We had some meetings, and that is the future. That has to happen. ANEGADA is a great place for sports tourism. Sports tourism is going to happen in ANEGADA in a big way. But in talking with the ANEGADA Land Advisory Committee, what it made clear to me is getting the land situation sorted out was a priority. Right. Because if you're going to do all these things in ANEGADA, but the people aren't a part of it, they aren't participating, then we miss the mark.
One of the greatest hindrances he noted in that regard is an outstanding land issue which has spanned over 100 years, but had recently made some valuable developments.
And I must thank the chairman and his committee for going way above and beyond a call of duty in making sure we arrest this problem and make sure the next generation don't come into this problem of land ownership on ANEGADA. Again, we did it together with a willing government, took on this humongous, everybody's saying, there are other problems in ANEGADA. Of course there are other problems, there'll always be problems, but this was brought to my attention as a salient problem that needed to be addressed.
Noting ANEGADA as a former breadbasket for the Virgin Islands, Honorable V. Wheatley said this is a reality that he hopes to give new life.
ANEGADA can be the breadbasket like it used to be. Because I've heard many stories back in the day when ANEGADans talk about going to St. Thomas with cattle and guinea corn and curry mole and conchs and sweet potatoes, you name it. ANEGADA can do it again. And I want to see it happen again.
To that end, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley shared that he is in preliminary talks with financial institutions for necessary agricultural investments which would be of value in this effort. This revelation was met with another call from Honorable V. Wheatley for there to be action rather than rhetoric to address the needs of the ANEGADA community.
And as I'm presently the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, I've started preliminary talks with financial institutions who will allow us to be able to do things like build these poultry houses.
Exactly.
These large poultry houses like we have over in Josiah's Bay and Paraquita Bay.
The ANEGADAs are ready, but Premier must move from just the rhetoric into action.
While there appeared to be a clear image for what the VIP candidates hope to achieve, Honorable V. Wheatley noted that an outstanding transportation issue served as a major hindrance to development in that regard. The Premier's promise to address the transport issue was met with yet another call from Honorable V. Wheatley for there to be delivery on such promises.
So the concept is we build some greenhouses, we build some poultry houses, and then you supply, because ANEGADA has what? A lot of space.
A lot of space.
A lot of flat land.
But one of the things, Premier, that you have to work with me with is getting that connection between the ferry source, between ANEGADA, Virgin and Tortola.
Yeah, and we're going to see a RFP come out for that very soon.
Man, you make my night.
For the ANEGADA, the run between ANEGADA and Tortola. And as we're producing, and Virgin Gorda, and as we'll be producing food there, you'll have the transportation to get it back and forth.
It is so important, but again, we must get beyond the rhetoric into action. People want to see action.
For 284 News, I am Jacka Wooding.
And when 284 News returns, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Burrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley says his government hopes to move forward with signing several sewage works contracts in the coming weeks. More on this report.
Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley has claimed that his government is pushing hard to have several sewage-related contracts signed in the coming weeks. This comes as the territory is gearing up for a general election about 5 weeks away, and as Wheatley acknowledges that across the territory, sewage is believed to be used by candidates as a political football. He says that the contracts will result from a tender process which is in the mature stages of completion.
One thing that persons will notice over the next few weeks is that we're pushing hard to get a contract signed for the some interconnections between the gravity lines and the main line going down to Long Swamp. Right. We've had 10 tenders which have been evaluated already, and those and also we have the sewage treatment plant, which of course that tender also, they've done the technical committee has done their report and forwarded it to the Central Tenders Board for the Central Tenders Board to go ahead and make a decision. And we also have the pumping station, as we said, that was tendered before. I had some little challenges with it before, but we expect to see those challenges resolved over the next few weeks.
He also took this opportunity to address the narrative that the 8th District has been ignored by the government in recent years. Wheatley rubbished the idea as false information and supported his view by stating that the government is in the process of procuring necessary materials to address issues in the 8th.
There's some kind of false information out there about the fact that the 8th District has been ignored. No such things. Actually, the wet wells, the manholes, those have been ordered, and I believe that they should be arriving shortly. And also we have the pipes. The pipes have been there, ready to go into the ground, just awaiting the arrival of the manholes and the wet wells. So things are moving, and you're going to see some action very soon.
Deputy Premier Honorable Kai Reimer previously spoke on the aforementioned contracts before the House of Assembly, at which point he indicated a similar timeline as the Premier. More specifically, he stated that the contract for the supply of manholes and wet wells will be awarded in April. Reimer had also indicated that the sewage issues of the East End Long Look community should be addressed by the end of the year. For 284 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
At-large candidate for the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement, Mr. STACY Mather, former educator and senior executive director of the Youth Empowerment Center, has signaled his plans to transform the Virgin Islands education sector if elected. In an official interview with our agency, he first addressed why he decided to seek higher leadership.
I have sat and I have waited for many years hoping that the impact that I was making through YEP would catch on. We've done a lot in the eastern end of the island and even impacted young people in other small communities throughout the BVI. YEP was a project that was a pilot project that was started in 2005, and we started, the building opened in 2007. Over the years, we've had conversations with leaders. I've often been asked, well, Mather, why is there not more YEPs? There are not more YEPs because the persons who we had elected at the time did not make it an issue to try to have more YEPs. There's been talks over the years of having one in King Garden Bay. That was in the early years when we started in 2007, 2009. Then we started talking about Boggles Bay, the 6th district. We talked about Road Town, we talked about Virgin Gorda, we even talked about on the western side of the island. But nothing has ever materialized. It isn't for the lack of trying, it isn't for the lack of wanting to do it. And most recently I sat down and I said to myself, well, I guess if it's gonna happen, if anything is going to happen based on youth development in the territory, maybe I need to sit somewhere different to try to make that happen. After spending, it's now 20 years I've been working on the project, I've always hoped that we would have had a second one and then maybe a snowball effect, but that has not happened. So this is something that I would really like to make happen.
Additionally, Mather took time to outline areas of focus, most of which are specific to education.
Education is number one on my list. Education, youth development, the economy, and also our environment, waste management, those kind of things. In terms of education, I've been looking at our education system. I resigned in, I think it was 2010 or something like that. I was forced to resign from the system.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was on a leave of absence. Our system itself is not where it was. And at times I feel like we're not sure where we're going. I'm not knocking what has been done or even what is being attempted now. But I don't think we have looked at our system in depth enough to figure out what it is we really need and want to do. I say that because I'm a proponent of an education review. Countries like St. Kitts have taken advantage of UNESCO's educational reviews, where you look at the entire system. You're looking at your teachers, their qualifications, you're looking at the evaluations, appraisals, the curriculum, instructional methodologies, you're looking at how children are learning, how money is spent, infrastructure, desks, even food, those things. And then when you find out where your system sits and where it's deficient, you target those things. And for me, that is a very big thing because I'm big on statistics. Where are we? Where do we need to fix what we need to fix? And how do we get there? Instead of jumping up and saying, you know what, let's do this or let's do that. And then 2 years later, we're no more forward or we haven't advanced in what we really want to do.
He further went into detail about areas in education that need urgent, specific attention and the need to define education in the Virgin Islands.
Teachers are not compensated correctly. How do we fix it? You know, staff morale is not there. We have discipline issues. The EPE is an issue. Community service, do we need more apprenticeship there? Should the EPE be done in an earlier grade? I think these conversations need to materialize where there is actually an action to it. In youth development, we've lost all our after-school programs that were run by the government. Why is that? And you know, how do we fix it? When we look at the blue economy in the BVI, how do we get more children involved in those things? How do we get credit for programs done outside of the school, in the school? Where has summer school gone for children in terms of raising their grades? You know, when I was in elementary school and even in secondary, I was advanced. What are we really doing for advanced children in the territory? Special needs children, where are they at? I find that a lot of the times we have great ideas, we have reports, we have things that can be done, but it's not being done. I'm not naive to think that I know all the answers. I left the system, and when I left it, it was not where I would have wanted it to be. I was 26, I wanted to be a principal, I just finished my graduate studies, and I was told I was too young. So I was given an opportunity, and I left. I think I did a fairly good job where I left, and now I want to return. And I believe that the future of the system lies in those teachers who are on the ground, who have recently returned from university, or who are seeing the things in other places that they believe we can do. You know, this belief that you have to do it in every school. I don't believe that. I believe you can pilot it in one school, see if it works, and then spread it throughout the territory. But when I look at the curriculum, I look parts of the curriculum, a lot of the things are the same things I did when I was a child. So, you know, defining education in the BVI is important.
For the full interview, visit all Twit4 media platforms. Viewers, up next, we have more local news.
Is someone gonna get that?
Hello.
Hello. So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry. I've got this.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Live stream cable TV is here with CCT Live. Access over 80 channels that you can watch either at home or when you're on the go. And don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Rewind and watch in your own time. Come to CCT today and ask about our 1-month free trial offer. CCT Live. Bring it home.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Closing our newscast out while acknowledging the very poor condition of the roads within the 7th and 8th District, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley revealed his government's intention to sign contracts for road works in the coming weeks.
Persons would have noticed that we had a tender go out for the roads between Paraquita Bay and Hodges Creek, and then Hodges Creek to Fatags Bay, right down to where the road was concreted there by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So it's going to be 2 phases, and it's quite, I believe the tenders, if they haven't come in, they should be coming in the next couple of weeks or so, and we're pushing to see if we can get those contracts signed over the next couple of weeks.
This, with just about 5 weeks left before the April 24 general elections, the timeline for execution of roadworks, he noted, is dependent on the completion of sewage works within the area. Now, he said that rather than simply patching up existing roads, it is intended that completely new infrastructure be established and upgraded to better meet the needs of commuters and utility providers.
So, of course, we had to wait until we did the sewage work, so we didn't have to dig back up the road after we did the overlay. And it's not just going to be overlay, I should speak a little bit about that. We're going to have sidewalks.
Right.
We're going to have drainage. We'll have properly engineered and designed roads. And of course, we're also going to put the conduits so that when we want to go ahead and bury the electricity cables, we can put them under, and of course, make sure that we have a meeting with all the utility companies to ensure that once we do the road, we don't have to dig it back up right after. And you deal with all of your water lines, and you have your conduits for the electricity, etc. And of course, I told them to make sure they have space for some good landscaping on the side of the sidewalks, so that you can have some nice palm trees leading you down Paraquita Bay and Hodges Creek.
That is it for today's news roundup. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news. I'm Ron Grant. Do have a beautiful rest of the day. Of course, be sure to check us out on our website at 284media.com, as well as all social medias, Facebook at 284media and Instagram and Twitter at 284BVI. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Happy Thursday. Bye-bye.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Joss Van Dyke, not forgetting ANEGADA. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.